Brother Nashi, how are you? Please hide my name and post for me as anonymous. I am a woman who is currently living here in Durban. I grew up here in KZN. I do come from a village, and growing up, my life was so difficult, yet I was very bright in school. The teachers at the school where I was going to, they always encouraged me to keep on studying, even when my mother got so ill, because my mom, she got cancer. And back in those days, like, people did not know much about cancer. So the way that she used to get so thin, there were those that thought that maybe she had HIV. There was even one doctor who even suggested that we should try to put her on a different medication because of the way that she was losing weight. And people did not understand much more about cancer, because the symptoms that she was having, like losing weight, it was like she had HIV. And as a family, we were unable to accept it that my mother, she was suffering from this terrible disease, even though it was hard like that. But one of the teacher at the school where I was going to always encouraged me not to give up, but to keep on studying and to do this for my mother. And he said to me, if you can be able to go to university and you can get a good job, your mom, you can take her to the best hospital. And I studied very hard. Unfortunately, when I was at university, that was when I got impregnated by one of the lecturers there, who took advantage of me, of my situation, since I was someone that did not have a lot of money. I then returned back home and I went back to college after I had given birth. When my daughter was around 3, that was when I returned back to the college. I want to thank God because I graduated, and then I started to work as a flight hostess. I started to live a better life, and I was able to take my mom to the best doctors, even if it meant that it was taking a lot of my salary. But all that I was living for was for my daughter as well as for my mother. 17 years ago, that was when I met this Nigerian man who is my husband. And I am going to tell you that this man, he was not the man whom I thought he was, for he worshipped the devil. To those that do not understand it, I don't know how I can tell you exactly, but there are those that believe that God is evil and the devil is the one that we are supposed to worship. Like my husband, no matter how you try to show him that what he is doing, it is wrong, you cannot survive by doing these sacrifices. But he believes that the devil is a good guy and God is wrong in all of his dealings. I was young, I was beautiful, and I traveled the world. I saw London, Paris, Dubai. I thought that I was the luckiest girl in South Africa, because soon after I had graduated, my baby daddy, he felt so sorry for what he had done to me to impregnate me, and he had been paying for my college. And he had connections, so I got a job through those connections, not because I did not know what I was doing, but it was just that he said, let me try to assist you because I disturbed you, because I was studying to be a doctor. That was when I met my Nigerian husband. He was a passenger in business class the day when we met. So as I was serving him, he kept on looking at me, and whenever we would have eye contact, we would smile at each other. I did not know that he was Nigerian. In my life, I had never dated a man that was not from my Zulu tribe. So when I heard his accent, I was not sure anymore. But then he begged me to give him a chance, and he said that he was going to treat me like a diamond, and he was going to give me love no other Zulu man had ever given to me. He told me that he was going to make sure that he treats me in a way that was good, so much that I was going to agree to get married to him. That night when we met, that was when he told me that we were going to get married one day. I thought that he was joking, but here we are. So he started to give me a lot of money. He would buy for me Gucci bags, jewelry, and he would give me love and attention and money on top, and he would always pay me cash. whenever you would say, I want you to go and see my brother, maybe it was downtown or wherever one of his Nigerian brothers were staying, I would be given stacks of cash. Within a year, because of the money that I was being given, I had no choice but to quit my job. Like the money, it was coming in quite a lot. And I thought that I had finally found my prince, and he was assisting with my mother's medical expenses. Wherever my mom was supposed to go to, he was the one that will finance for the trip so that I can go with my mom to Singapore. There was nothing else that I could ever ask for, because this guy, he was giving me all that I wanted. My husband, he was someone that was always flying all over the world. I did not understand what kind of a business he was doing. Even when we were still dating, he would call me and he would be like, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going to Japan, I'm going wherever that he would go to. And he took me to China with him before we had gotten married. So I was never involved in his businesses. To this very day, like, I don't know what my husband does, but all that I know is that he has a lot of money. We got married. Ours was a beautiful wedding, and he said that he did not want it to be a big event, even though I had begged him and I wanted him and I to get married in a big venue, and I can invite a lot of people from our church. But he told me that he is someone that is well reserved. He does not enjoy being around a lot of people. I said, okay, it's fine. He then said, we are going to invite only a few people. Those are the ones that are going to come to our wedding. So I agreed, since he was the one that was paying for everything, and I said, okay, it's fine, you will do whatever that you want. So he looked for the venue, and we had like a very small wedding. I was fine with that. We then started to stay together. When we were staying together, there were things that I started to notice about my husband that I did not like. Like, for instance, my husband, he had a lot of rules. He would tell me that he does not want me to do that. He does not want me to associate with some of my friends that I used to be friends with when I was still in university. And my husband, he did not even want me to tell some of my other friends that I was married. And he was always snooping around my phone. Like, it was a terrible thing to be around him. He was very abusive. Even though he was a businessman, he never went to any office, and he had people coming and going at all hours. I even asked him if he was a sangoma, because some of the things that would be happening at our home, I could not understand. There was even one person who once brought a god to him. I was like, what is this god for? Are you some type of a Nigerian sangoma? You need to tell me. And he was like, it was not my duty for me to know what he did. All that I was supposed to do was to enjoy his money. And he said that there were other women out there that were even praying to God so that they can have a husband that was as wealthy as he was. Ouch, that used to hurt quite a lot whenever he would compare me to other women. Whenever we would fight, he would always try to end that fight with him saying that I have a lot of money. You need to understand that I made you to stop working and I am giving you more money than what you were earning. So this used to make me feel so bad about myself, as if I was not worth it. I eventually stopped going to church at all, because my husband, since he was Muslim, he said that he did not agree with some of the things that we did as Christians. And as a Muslim, if I wanted to be accepted by his family, him being a Muslim, I was supposed to also convert. So we started fighting. I can say that those were the first cracks in the foundation of our marriage, because he said that a Muslim man is only supposed to be married to a woman who also believes in the same religion as he believes, or if that woman worships another god, they have to convert. Otherwise, the family is not going to bless that marriage. And I said, oh, so this is why you did not want me to tell a lot of people that we were married because you are ashamed of me. And he was very controlling in each and everything that he did. He tried to control me. He tried to do a lot of stuff that were so painful to me. My husband, I can say, he was a good man at first, but he had a lot of strange rules. Like, there was a room in our house, it was always locked, and he told me that it was his prayer room. When I used to ask him what is it that was inside of that room, he would be like, this room, there is something that is of importance to me, so I do not want you as a woman to go and you enter into that room. Until he showed me that the room, it was empty. It only had a mat that was in the middle of the room, and he said that it was the prayer mat that he used and the Quran. And he did not want me as a woman to enter into that room because he said that if you do that, then Allah, his God, would be angry at him. So I kept on pushing him, and I told him that I wanted him to show me what was inside of that room, and he showed me, and I saw that it was empty, and he said that he was going to cleanse it because as a woman, you're not supposed to enter into his prayer room. So me being a Christian girl, I felt so uneasy, but the luxury was too good for me to walk away. I lived in a house where I was not allowed to do a lot of things that you consider to be normal. All that I had to do was to enjoy money. So me going out shopping and spending a lot of money, it became like a therapy session for me because there was no one whom I could be friends with, and he was scared that if I associate with a lot of women, then those women, they will end up knowing about some of the things that he does, because he could wake up in the middle of the night, then he would be locked up in that room until the next morning, and I'll be crying lonely in bed. And there were times when he would even bring other women, and he would tell me that he's going to sleep with a woman in the guest bedroom. So I was going through a lot. He started changing slowly and slowly until he became very abusive towards me when he would bring those women into our matrimonial home. There was a time when I had returned back home and I had left him in Joburg. I then returned without telling him, and I found out that he had been sharing my bedroom with another woman that he had picked up at the club. He did not want to tell me that him as a Satanist, there were other things that he will do, like picking up these women and sleeping with them, because it gratified the sin of lust. Anything that he had to do with sinning against God, that was all that he had to do. 5 years into our marriage, when my husband had traveled back to Lagos for something, he left South Africa in a hurry, and then I was alone at home. Since I was alone, I started hearing people that were talking in that very same room that he used to tell me never to enter into that room. So I then took a bunch of keys that he had left. He forgot them. He used to carry them wherever he would go to. If he would go to America, he would carry his keys with him. So since he had forgotten them, Brother Nashi, that was when I took them, and I said, today I want to see, because I had seen him dragging a cabinet into that prayer room of his. So I was like, maybe I'm going to find some evidence in there that this man, maybe he's doing some drugs or he's selling some things that are illegal, since I did not know what kind of a business that he was doing. So Brother Nashim, out of curiosity, I then took the keys and then I went into that room. When I entered into that room, the prayer room, when I was in there, the smell that came out of that room, it was just too much. And I then saw that there were a lot of chickens that were dead. And these chickens, it was like my husband would go, he would buy live chickens and just throw them in there. It was so dirty. And then I saw a snake that was hiding behind that cabinet. I did not want to see what was behind that cabinet because I saw that it was a snake. I was afraid that this snake, it was going to kill me. So I just closed the door and then I took the keys and I went to Durban. He knew that this was what I had done. When he was in Nigeria, he called me. He was angry with me. He said, "Why did you open my prayer room?" And I told him what I had seen. And he said that he was going to return back to South Africa as quickly as possible. I said, "Yes, you have to come back because we need to talk." When he returned back to South Africa, he did not even hide it. He told me that yes, he had a snake, and he told me that he was a devil worshipper. He said that he did not want to get into details as to what kind of a devil worshipper he was. He just told me that he does not believe in God. He is not a Muslim. And whenever he goes into that room, he would be speaking with demons from hell. And that was all that I was supposed to know as his wife. I said, "So you want me to go back into that same house and you want me to know that you speak with demons? It is far much better that we look for another house here in Durban, then you give your life to Christ." He said, "No, I can't do that. Do you know what I had to lose? I lost my sisters when I was building that altar. So I cannot lose any more of my relatives just to impress you." Brother Nanshi, me and my husband, we are still legally married, but we have been on separation ever since. He moved back to Lagos. He lives there, and I know that he has a lot of money. I regularly see him on TikTok, and he is enjoying his life there in Nigeria. We are on separation. I am here in Durban, just picking up the pieces of my life. I tried to sue him for divorce and a settlement, but every lawyer that I hired, they just dropped the case. They told me that my husband is like, he's very powerful. One white guy told me that he kept on having a very weird dream where he was being shot by my husband. So most of them, they will simply stop answering my calls. I know that he uses his snake to block me. He wants me to suffer with the children that we had together. My kids, yes, we suffer together here in Durban. I have not yet managed to get like a permanent position, like a good job like I used to have back in those days. I'm just sending this story. Let it be a warning to other young women, those that want to live a soft life. You can live your soft life, but know that one day you are going to come across someone that is like my husband, who will use you for rituals. I have kids now that I can't even take care of. Whenever I look back at the life that I used to live, it's like I was cursed from birth. I was someone that was intelligent, and things got wrong when I was in university. I got impregnated, and then I started working, and I fell into the hands of a wrong man. I want the young girls in Durban, in Joburg, to hear me. If a man is too rich and is very private about his life, be careful. If there is any room in a house of a boyfriend that you are dating, you are not allowed to enter. Know that this person, it's either he is a criminal or he is a devil worshipper like my husband. I am tired of being separated and being bound to my husband. I wanted divorce, but he laughed at me when I told him that I wanted divorce. He said, "We will never divorce because your God that you worship does not like people that divorce." This is my story. Please make sure that you post it as quickly as possible. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed. they do happen in this world. I'll be back with another episode.